Good morning. So, first of all, I know some of you may not have been around a long time, and if you're new to my page, you may not know that in 2020, I was diagnosed with bone cancer. So not just child sexual abuse survivor, domestic violence survivor, but now cancer survivor, right? So I lost all my hair that went down to my waist and was bald for about a year. And I did all the videos anyway, so if you see videos in my YouTube channel or my history where I have like really short hair or I was bald, that was why, because I was in chemo and radiation. And I just have to say, on the mornings, which are rare, I actually do something with my hair. It's so fun. So anyway, good morning with hair. So this morning, I want to talk to you about, not that. I want to talk to you about how to know if you are actually healing when you're looking backwards and you're thinking, oh my goodness, am I really, am I doing better? Have I really healed and grown? Really? Am I sure? So I have this conversation often with coaching clients and they'll be like, I just got hit with something, it threw me backwards, and I'm trying to figure out why do I feel like I got thrown so far backwards? Well, first of all, when you have a traumatic experience, your frontal cortex shuts down and goes offline. That's your decision-making part of your brain. Your amygdala, the fear center in the middle of your brain, it kicks into overdrive. You're in brain hijack. One of the things that we do in our Trauma Mamas sisterhood community with trauma toolkits is help you learn how, that's on our app, help you learn how to get unhijacked when your brain is in hijack. But let's say you've been doing the work for a while, right? Let's say you've been working with a trauma therapist or a coach. You've been surrounding yourself with good community. You've been doing the hard work, and then something hits you and it knocks you flat. And you're like, okay, so if this still has the capacity to knock me flat, am I actually healing or not? I want to give you one of those vibrant word pictures that you can cling to and kind of put yourself into the picture and figure out exactly where you fit now and where you used to be. This is one of those good ones. Okay, so let's imagine that this is you before you do any trauma work, when you're in the middle of survival mode. And a light bulb in a room, like this room, that has a tile floor or a stone floor, a light bulb falls and shatters. In survival mode, you may keep going on walking barefoot on that glass until your feet are shredded, and it's only once you walk into the other room and track blood on the white carpet that you stop and realize, oh my word, I'm bleeding. When did that happen? Because you're so focused on survival, you're not even noticing the things that are slicing into you. So when you've been doing the work for a little while, you begin to be able to notice when you're walking into a space, oh my goodness, there's glass on the floor. I should probably step around it. And after you work a little more, and you've had more time and more safety and more stability and more healing, and you're getting stronger and more able, you're not in hijack anymore, your frontal cortex is back online, you're able to think more logically and long-term, you're coming out of that survival mode, you see something, and there's glass on the floor, and you're like, oh, a light bulb fell. I now not only notice the glass on the floor before I walk on it, I know what got it there. And I'm gonna get a broom and sweep it up. You're not gonna step on it. And further along is an even bigger step. And that's when You walk into a room and you look up and you see there's a light bulb that's been partially unscrewed and it's hanging by a thread. It is going to fall. When it falls, it will shatter. I recognize the signs. I'm going to either screw it back in tightly or I'm going to unscrew it and replace it so that there's no shattered glass on the floor in the first place. You see how you can walk backward? And you're right, Mark says complex trauma is not easy at the time. Absolutely. I'm not saying any of this is easy. I'm saying this can be a word picture of the journey of work. So when you're in that survival mode and then you heal a little bit, you're able to at least notice that you're bleeding and you're being cut. And then you heal more and you notice the things that are causing it. And you heal some more and you get more awareness and understanding and education and self awareness of what's going on in your body as well as what's going on outside. And you're able to kind of preempt those things. And as you keep going, you begin to see the things that are causing it. Now let's take that out of that visual and put it into a real life scenario. Let's say you are I'm just gonna pull a very standard profile situation of one of the thousands and thousands of women that are in our private support groups or that are using our app. By the way, did you know that the Trauma Mamas app is free and we have downloads in 176 countries right now? Dozens, over 175 countries. Women are using our app for resources for this kind of stuff. So if you are, let's say you're a mama who is living in that survival mode and you're just trying to keep it together, you're not in a position at that time to recognize those warning signs before you get fully triggered, where you could stop and ground yourself and be able to think very logically and rationally about things. But because you're just you're just trying to survive, right? You're trotting on glass, your feet are bleeding, you're ignoring the fact that your feet are bleeding, maybe you're trying to just keep your kids from walking on the glass, but they may have gotten cut some too because you're living in a dangerous situation and you are trying so hard to just manage the situation, but you're not able to clean it up, you're not able to change the environment right now because you're just immersed in it. And let's say you have a situation where maybe one of your children reports abuse or there's some kind of escalation, and then you get out and you start to get safe. Well, over time, you begin to realize, oh, I'm feeling this way right now. That's because of what I've been through. It's not necessarily that I'm in danger now that I'm out. It's because of what I've been through, and I need to work on the healing, and I need to continue to choose safety. And over time, I will find stability, and you move into a new season of healing where you're not just in survival mode anymore. And in this stability season of healing, you're able to safety becomes present long enough that you're able to have a new baseline. But let's just say your kids have to go back and start visiting again where they were abused. And that throws you backwards. All of a sudden it feels like you're trotting on sharp glass, except now you're not numb to it and it kills and you are a wreck inside. Well, let's say you're able to work with someone and manage that situation and you find that stability again and time goes on, and as time goes on and you are safe and stable, you're beginning to get stronger. And then something happens where this is a huge trigger and you become dysregulated, your nervous system is going haywire, and you're anxious and you feel urgent and you feel maybe even terrorized, you're not able to sleep at night, and you're realizing that you're recognizing the signs of what's going to happen, even though it hasn't happened yet. Because now you have enough distance and perspective that you are able to be in tune with the patterns of things before they actually happen. You're not just sweeping up the glass. You're noticing this is what used to happen before things got really bad. And as you keep going and you become more aware, and you're working with a coach or a therapist, and you become more aware of what's going on in your body, you may get to the point where, and this is a beautiful place to be, even though it feels scary still in the moment, but if you look at the trajectory of growth, this is a beautiful place to be. You get to the point where you begin to feel, I am sensing the warning signs in my body that I am going to become dysregulated if I don't take action steps to do something for my own protection. The situation hasn't happened yet, or maybe something has happened. It's not as bad as what I used to deal with. Something has happened and I am on track to spiraling out. I'm on track to becoming completely dysregulated, and I sense it in my stomach, I sense it in my throat, I sense it in my GI responses. Maybe I'm having diarrhea, or I'm really constipated. I sense it in my hands shaking, or I'm tightening up, I'm clenching my jaw. All of a sudden I'm not sleeping at night. I'm having these weird dreams. Things are like these waking things where I'm reliving old stuff. Whatever it is that happens to you. And instead of just going through it and not realizing that this is what's happening, you're thinking, oh, I know what this is. This is what leads to dysregulation, which leads to spiraling, which leads to completely living in survival mode. I'm not there anymore. So what I'm going to do right now, maybe, and these are not, of course, things that would work for everyone, but if maybe I'm needing to just snap myself out of it. So I'm going to go stick my head under an ice cold shower spigot to just pull my brain out of this spiral. And I'm going to go and do something that is a sensory grounding, where it's like an extreme change in temperature, something really cold, or something, maybe I'm shivering and I'm tense and I'm all tightened up inside. I'm gonna go and I'm gonna turn on a heater blanket, or get a hot pack and put it on my feet, or right between my thighs where like all the blood circulation goes, to warm myself up so that I can relax. Or I'm going to go and drink something really cold, or suck on an ice cube. Or I'm going to take a quick walk outside and do 50 jumping jacks to just change my frame of mind so that I can come back into this situation much more regulated. Maybe I need to go sit in the toilet. Maybe I need to drink something through a straw. Maybe I need to have a really tight hug and have someone squeeze me if I have someone safe to do that, and pull my knees up to my chest and tuck my arms in and just be squeezed as like a kind of a neural reset experience. There's all kinds of little hacks that you can do that are not medicines, they're not pharmaceuticals, they're not expensive, but they're things, once you have moved into that awareness where you are noticing that your body is getting dysregulated and you're on track for that, you can start taking these steps before you ever get fully to the point of dysregulation. When you recognize in yourself that you are at a point where you are aware that you are on the cusp of becoming dysregulated, instead of waking up 6 or 7 or 8 days later and being like, oh my goodness, this is what's been happening to me, you know you have done tremendous work. You are gaining perspective, you are gaining distance, you are moving from just safety mode in through stability into a place of strength. Because what would have had you spiraling the drain and completely dysregulated a year ago or 2 years ago or 5 years ago, now you're noticing the signs in your body before they get out of control. And that is a beautiful, beautiful thing. All right, drop me a comment underneath. Let me know if this is helpful to you, if you gained some good ideas, if there was something in here that was like, I recognize that in myself, or this is something I can do. Tell me what you think, and definitely share it with a friend. Also, if you haven't checked out our free Trauma Mamas app yet, just go to http://traumamamas.app/links. You can download the Google version, the Android version. You can download the Apple or iOS version there. It's a free download. And inside, you will find a ton of crisis tools and free quizzes and assessments and all kinds of cool stuff, links to our support groups, the works, and you will find our monthly sisterhood community. And inside that, there's trauma tools for little ones, trauma tools for yourself. There's expert interviews with world-renowned leaders in trauma, coercive control, domestic violence, legal stuff, health stuff. Our own ITR, which is Instinctual Trauma Response Certified Coach, creates all of our trauma tools, and that we have a whole toolkit for kids every single month, presented by kids for you to do with your kids, and exercises and activities and audios to listen to. And let me see what else we have. We have live group coaching every month, and we have a live Q&A session every month where you can get your questions answered, and you can work with someone else who, just observe us working with other people too. It's a huge, power-packed membership every month in the sisterhood community. So definitely go grab the app, check it out, and share this video with a friend if it helped you.